Now, the Made in Namibia collection retail shop was officially opened in Swakopmund on Independence Day. The shop aims to bring Namibian-made products to the market. Joining us now is the co-owner of the shop, Raymond or Ray Spall, who will be bringing us an insight into this new concept. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, Denver. Hi.
Now, thank you very much for joining us.
Sure.
The saying goes that local is lekker. Please talk to us about the concept.
Exactly. You know, it's basically, I've been a supplier to the industry, the tourism industry, for many, many years. But 6.5 years ago, my wife and I started to basically made a decision, a conscientious decision, to start looking for locally made products. And so we took these handful of locally made products, took it to our customers in the hospitality industry, and we sold it. It was incredible, and it's just grown since then. So we focused firstly on the wholesale side, and then, as you mentioned, on the 21st of March 2018, we opened up our first shop here in Swakopmund, and this became, suddenly, it just grew exponentially. You know, an artist or somebody who's got artistic characters are introverted, and they have difficulty selling their products. And so we became that platform where they could channel their products through a retail outlet and then to, the end user.
Let's take a couple of steps back.
Sure.
Where did the original idea come from? What actually inspired it?
Okay. Well, two things. One, having been in the hospitality industry for a long time, we interact a lot with tourists. And people often asked, is it made locally? What about a local product? And even myself, for many years, was importing products from South Africa, like most things. And it just became very clear that we needed to do a shift, a paradigm shift, in order to ensure that more locally produced products reach the end user. And that's where it all began. We actually had to not just only make the change for the customer, but within ourselves as well. And just to think local wherever we could. And that's where the change came about.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you opened your first shop here in Swakopmund on the 21st of March 2018.
Yes.
Was that also an intentional decision?
Very much so. I mean, it all came together very quickly in about January, February of that year. But when we realized that we could be open for the 21st of March, of course, that was, to me, a very important benchmark. Being an Independence Day, and then that's why we really went for that 21st of March. Yes.
Please talk to us about your ethos. We share knowledge.
That's one part of it. We also source locally. But what we do with this knowledge is, quite often, the product is not always produced locally. For example, take this mug. We don't have people that actually manufacture mugs here. But what we can do is that we can print it here locally. We can print the labels here locally. And then, who knows, maybe if there's a big market for it, then somebody can start producing that. So we share that knowledge and we say, right, okay, you can't produce this here at the moment, so why don't we try and do something else? Or there's a niche, there's a new product. As we interacting with customers, then we look for how we can then marry that up with one of our producers, one of our suppliers, and see if they can then do it and bring it back to us. So yeah, sharing that knowledge.
Indeed. We do know that economies of scale play an important role, but what is it that we need to do as a local business community, as residents of Swakopmund, and also as visitors, to ensure that ultimately we also produce that mug here, not only print the label?
Well, first of all, we need to conscientiously make a paradigm shift within ourselves. We need to look, where can we support local? And that's in everything. It's from the milk we buy, from the Kapana trader, what we can do to support local, because obviously it's habitual. You have a fixed mindset. You walk into a shop and you automatically, maybe your parents used to buy it, maybe you're used to buying a particular brand, and it's not necessarily that it's made here in Namibia, it's elsewhere, but that's habitual, that's a fixed mindset. And we need to look at a growth mindset in Namibia. We need to change that within ourselves first, and eventually, and start looking for Namibian products. You can have in your house cleaning materials which are made and produced locally. You do not have to have another brand. And sometimes they are a little bit more expensive. But think about it. Is it 10% or 20% or even 30%? If you're supporting a local to grow, this is the most important thing that we have to do as Namibians for ourselves first. And once that starts taking place, then we can start looking at where are our gaps. Where are the areas where we ourselves can produce something locally?
Now, it's one matter to call for a paradigm shift. It's a completely different kettle of fish for that to take effect.
Agreed.
Does it start at home? Does it start with the example led by the parents? How does a paradigm shift come about?
Look, I mean, obviously, we can tell our children whatever we want to tell them. They will not listen, but they will imitate us. A child will always imitate an elder. So we need to make the change ourselves. Fortunately for us, the government is also taking this role. Take the NIPDB, for example. They were established a year ago, and the president himself, as well as the Minister of Trade and Industrialization, have come on board. And not just that, though. I mean, you take Team Namibia. For a while now, they've been saying, grow Namibia, buy Namibia, think Namibia first. And these are the kind of things that now that is taking place, the snowball effect will take place as well. But again, it's not easy. I know myself. It took me a long time to adjust that mindset to start looking for products made in Namibia.
Actively and intentionally.
Very much, intentionally,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
I'm happy you're touching on the national efforts.
Sure.
To what extent is there synergy between what it is that you are doing and these national efforts towards buy local and grow local?
Sure. We were recently invited to the NIPDB's tech social event, which happened in Windhoek on the 26th of November, which was a wonderful collaboration, a lot of creatives coming together at the Nampower Convention Center. And they are definitely calling us, and they actually came to visit our shop as well. Their whole team, the SME team. And this is the whole thing. A society is made up of SMEs or macro SMEs, small, medium enterprises. They are the mothers and the fathers, the uncles, the new blood coming through. This is society's base. And this is where the money is being used and sustained. And so therefore, it's lovely to see that the government is supporting this and promoting this. So yes, there's been some good collaboration.
Please talk to us about the poster that you brought.
Yeah,
with.
sure.
What does it depict?
First of all, it was printed in Namibia.
Very important.
So yes, this is our logo, the Made in Namibia. It's a collection of products made in Namibia. So we have about 50 plus minus suppliers, local suppliers, which we work with and which we retail their products for. And so yes, I mean, basically support local, and it's a collection, the Made in Namibia collection.
How challenging is it to source local suppliers, and how important is it that needs to be a consistent relationship?
It's growing. What I've noticed through COVID, for example, how suddenly people have this creative self that they've had to tap into. And it's amazing, once we open up our second shop in November 2020, much larger, in town itself, in Swakopmund, and suddenly the amount of people having heard about it, having seen it on Facebook, thank goodness for social media, and bringing their products to us and saying, what do you think of this? And so we say, sure, why don't we try it, let's put it on the shelf, and then let's see. And then we try and sell it on their behalf. And it's amazing. There's been such creativity, Denver, and that is beautiful. That's incredible.
Speaking about COVID-19, unfortunately, it's still in our midst.
Sure.
What impact has it had on your efforts?
Business-wise, it's been chaos. I mean, cash flow-wise and things like that has been really hard. I mean, it's living from hand to mouth. But we're not the only ones. I mean, this is the general feeling. Unless you've got a permanent job, then that's a different story. But even then, it's affected every single person around the world, I believe, or majority of people. And so we're just part of that.
What keeps you going as an entrepreneur despite those dire straits?
It's that knowledge, that passion, knowing that I'm on the right track, that I'm making a difference. And so that to me is keeps me going. You know, I've got a growth mindset. And I do believe that Namibia can become financially independent, can become that change. You know, so we just need to carry on pushing towards. And if anything, this is the best time to do it.
Speaking of which, there are, of course, opportunities given rise to exactly by the pandemic as far as producing masks is concerned, hand sanitizers. Have we sufficiently grabbed those opportunities presented to us by the pandemic?
Yeah, of course. I think as far as the mask and the hand sanitizers and things like that, yes, very much so. I mean, this particular mask was made in Namibia.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But there's, you know, the vocational side is very, very important. The practical side of a society, we need to concentrate on that. We don't just want the IT people and the bookkeepers and so forth, the academics. We need those practical people. And this is the market where I believe the producers, the manufacturers, even the engineers, where that particular market hasn't been looked at and needs to be focused more on.
Mr. Spall, it was wonderful to witness your passion. Any final remarks this morning, please?
Go out there and make that difference. You know, start thinking local. That's all I can say. Thank you, Denver. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Raymond Spall, co-owner of Made in Namibia Collection, encouraging us to go out there and make a difference.